That sounded more like the Tim Allen Home Improvement one that I thought I was trying to go for, but you guys actually don't know what we're going for, because you gotta have to be in store and wait till later. But what you don't have to wait for is what this podcast is. We are the Grand Line Tourist Podcast, a chapter by chapter examining or re-examining of Ichiro Oda's masterpiece, One Piece. That's what we are. Ooh. That's what we're here to do. And you know, the examining or re-examining depends on your relationship with this particular piece of art. If you're like me, Eric Sivu, the tour guide, coming at you fresh off your eardrums, rereading One Piece from the beginning for, I don't know, this might be my third time, but like, does it count if I don't finish the whole way through? I just read up to a certain point and then restarted.
No. This is your second time. No.
Then technically this is my full read through, depending how far we go.
Oh, because you never started from the beginning before, probably.
And then I just stopped at a certain point, you know what I mean? Like, last time I went, like, over COVID, when COVID hit, I probably stayed until, like, 200 chapters, and then you and I started this podcast, and I jumped back, you know what I mean?
Ah, okay. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. But, faceless voice in the void on the other side of the internet, who be thee?
Faceless. Oh my goodness. I am Jacob, unknown middle name Jarecki, and I am the tourist of this here adventure, ready to learn about all the wonderful things that are out there, you know. And this is my first time rereading, and I'm doing it legit. I'm not doing this, 200 chapters stop nonsense.
I mean, you're more than welcome to start another chapter by chapter podcast with one of your friends, where you could just low key be the tour guide.
I could be a tour guide and a tourist at different points of time. Whoa, we're like, I don't think we need to Nolanify our podcast right here, right now, but it's an intriguing idea for sure.
Yeah, but you just have to promise me that you'll make that podcast only release an episode a week. Therefore, you're slower, at a slower pace.
Yeah, no, and that of course, you can't have the time scales be the same if we're doing a Nolan movie. They gotta all be running at different scales.
Right.
You know? Mm-hmm. One of them will be backwards. It'll
exactly.
work.
And Tom Hardy's in it. Somewhere.
Well, some of our, listeners and, our tourists and tour guides out there, they are dreaming a little bit bigger themselves, and we're going to let you know what they're dreaming about in our Letters at Port section. We got, Port? Yes. We got, actually, this is pretty cool. We got a YouTube comment that I'm just going to read out here from Santiago, and I think we called him out before, and I actually think this comment was in directly response to us calling him out in the episode.
Really?
So he says, yeah, because I think I mentioned his name, and I said, I wonder if he, found out us through the YouTube or how he's following, and so I think this is a follow up to that, because I think I just mentioned the name, because I think all I did was notice we got a subscriber, and this was the name of the subscriber, so I feel like this is quite awesome that he took the time to take a comment on our episode 60. And he reports, "Hey, Eric and Jacob, I can confirm I didn't subscribe on accident. It was actually your logo," shout out to Eric here, he is the one who did our wonderful logo, "that got me interested as a fellow tour guide, and I've been listening for a couple of weeks, but I'm loving your guys' take on the series chapter by chapter. Here's a question I have about your plan for the show. Are you going to keep doing each chapter one at a time until One Piece is done? Because so far, 1,000 plus has taken 25 years. Is that how long you guys are going to do this? Because if so, I'll be there all 25 plus years." That is very heartwarming to hear that we have someone's already dedicated to a 25-year voyage. I mean, I don't know if we've dedicated ourselves for 25 plus years. I would be old.
In my opinion, I feel like we have to at least take 10 years at the pace that we're going. But Oda took 25 years to get to 1,000 plus, obviously, because he has to write it week by week, and he took hiatus, and it's life. Stuff happens, right? But Santiago, man, being a fellow tour guide, like, I'm so excited to have you on this tour. I'm excited that you're down for it. This is what I propose. Once we either get caught up, or we, or maybe if One Piece finishes by the time this podcast is going, we should, and we end this, because this podcast has a definite end. Either Oda finishes One Piece, or we get caught up, and then we become a week by week thing too, as the other One Piece podcasts are. But I think either way, once we get to that point, or One Piece ends and we finish, I think we should, like, in 10 to the next 15 years, however long this takes, we should find like a little island somewhere with one little bar on the beach. and we should just all meet there and just celebrate this freaking journey that we've all decided to commit to. I know that's the premise of this podcast is ridiculous because we know how many chapters there are. It slaps us in the face every time.
Every time I publish an episode, I see that number and I go, whoa.
But man, we're slowly chipping away at it. And we're coming up on our year anniversary, or we already passed it?
Did we pass our year? No, we haven't passed our year anniversary. Our year anniversary is, I think it's December, January-ish,
Yeah, so I think we're coming around, like, if we hit, 100 plus, that's only going to take us 10 years.
There you go. We've done some math, and, we are in it, and we're going to celebrate on a beach someday in an island that is to be determined, TBD, Anyone else out there got island hookups, let us know. I hear Fire Island's going pretty cheap
in fairness,
days.
it probably should be somewhere in Japan.
Very true.
Right? Like where Oda's from, where this story is from, and those Japanese roots. Like, yeah, we should probably go there, but I don't know.
I was going to say, we got to find, an ocean-going restaurant. I don't think any ocean-going restaurants actually exist, though. Like, there are cruise ships that you can eat food on them, but I don't know if there's, a boat that can move. Like, you travel to it to eat, and it's in the middle of the ocean.
The Bratier is what you're describing.
Yeah, that's what I'm describing, but I want the Bratier on Earth, not, I physically have been unable to travel to the, any part of the One Piece world myself. But if we can figure out how to do that, Netflix show, right? They're gonna construct a Bratier. Maybe they'll do something.
And then also, I was gonna say, I feel like I've heard about a One Piece theme park or a section of Universal that's gonna be One Piece themed. Maybe that's the right answer because I feel like that's probably the closest we could get to replicating what this is gonna be. I really hope that show takes off and we get One Piece theme park everywhere, probably in Florida. Ugh. But we'll make it there.
We'll brave the humidity and we'll make it there. But actually, you were mentioning that there's news from somewhere else, from particularly not Florida, but up in New York Comic Con. You were telling me some interesting news.
Yeah, up in New York, the New York Comic Con. I don't know what accent that is, but it sounds right. They are
sure.
Funko Pop. You guys know that little ditty, the little toy company Funko Pop, with all the money in the world to buy all of these properties whatsoever. I don't know how. They're releasing a exclusive New York Comic Con type of Funko Pop that's Luffy and the Merry Go. And it looks great. So take a moment, Google it. I don't know, depending on the time that you listen to this, if you're 3 years in the future, then this thing's already out and probably cost I don't know,
$1 billion,
right? Because it was exclusive. Unless it has a regular general public run, I think it's going to be very expensive. But this is one that I want. And I don't even like Funko Pops, but this one looks good. It's it's him and the Merry Go. What's not to love? That's it, man.
Nice.
I feel like that deserves to be the mascot of our podcast.
Ooh, all the collectors out there, get it when you can while it's still cheap or cheapish. Very exciting.
Yeah, dude.
But not as exciting as what we actually come here every, time we put up an episode to do, which is actually dissecting and going over, the chapter. In this case, chapter 62, MH5.
Monster Hunter
Eric, my
5.
friend. Monster Hunter 5.
Coming out. 2020, late 2023. That's what I'm going to say. No, 2024. I don't know.
Nah.
Who knows?
Are they actually on Monster Hunter 5 right now?
You know what? I take that back. I actually think Monster Hunter World was Monster Hunter 5 technically. So.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
fair enough. They've already passed it.
They already passed it. So this is, which is fair, because this is a chapter from the past. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and read this itinerary for everybody. Chapter 62.
All right.
MH5. Krieg is disappointed in Jin.
I'm disappointed.
Or disobeying his orders and not killing Sanji. What the heck, Jin? But Jin, this is a very big character chapter for Jin. Jin's begging Krieg to let this ship go, let the cooks go. These guys saved our lives, Krieg. Why not? Let's not kill them. Krieg doesn't care. Krieg only wants complete obedience. So he lines up his shot and he's ready to just MH5 the whole thing. And this time, it's for reals. This is no trickery. There's no a secret.
Says you.
Yeah,
this is
right?
just what someone pulling a trick would do.
Right, exactly. But now he's done. He's ready to shoot into as MH5. It's not filled with ninja stars anymore.
Maybe.
He does that. All the other Creek pirates put on their masks. All the other cooks start deep diving. They're let's get as far away as we can. And then he specifically says to Jin, Krieg says to Jin, don't put on that mask. You throw it away now. You listen to me, boy. You throw it away away because you're no longer part of this crew. Krieg is disgusting the way he talks to people and the way he talks to his right-hand man. You know what I mean? Like, it's very on brand of him, but also disgusting.
Yeah, apparently when you retire as a pirate, give me your sword, give me your mask, get out of here.
You know, they go, and then they're like, and so the other Krieg pirates are like, oh, is he really going to do this? Is he really going to kill Jin? Remember that one time that this is a surprising flashback, where Jin pretended to be Krieg and act as a decoy to get caught by, what was his name? Iron Fist Full Body.
You got it, yeah.
Right? One, I didn't think this guy was going to come back, and now he's suddenly back in this darn arc. But he's here, and that's what happened, because we knew that, because Jin was the prisoner in the brig when he released, right, in the beginning of this arc. Let's see. Luffy
he threw away his mask, and then
so he throws away his mask. Luffy tries to rush at Krieg. He's like, I'm gonna stop him. I'm not gonna let him shoot this thing. But Krieg obviously still has the upper hand, and he's shooting at Luffy at a distance, kind of keeping the advantage and really using the ocean. Remember, like, there's a lack of ocean. There's just one giant like pole that's connecting the platform that Luffy's on and Krieg. And Luffy has to run across this pole to kind of get to Krieg, and Krieg's not letting him do that. And he tries to do it, but it doesn't really work. Sanji begs Jin not to listen, but Jin doesn't listen. He does throw away his mask, and he blames poor Jin. He blames his own sentiment and his own weakness to kind of be the reason why he should be punished now, why he should die, why he shouldn't be a Krieg pirate. And this all goes down. Luffy goes, shoot, I'm not going to get to him in time. So what he does is he steals 2 masks off of these Krieg pirates who are very close to
Luffy, he borrows some masks. He borrows them for a moment.
So he stole 2 masks from these Krieg pirates, and he throws it back to Sanji and Jin. He's like, put these on. But then he goes, oh no, what am I going to do? What am I going to do now? Because Luffy can't dive, right? Once he gets into the ocean, he's going to float he's going to sink like an anchor. But luckily for him, he turns around. He's like, "Oh, look, a mask is randomly next to me." And then he puts it on, and he's safe because Krieg does shoot his MH5, and it's terrible, and it does these things. Everybody else is safe as the smoke clears out. You know, the only people in question of their safety is Luffy, Jin, and Sanji. As it comes out, we find Jin and Sanji. But Sanji is on the floor, and Jin is holding the mask on Sanji's face. Jin doesn't have a mask because his mask that he got from Luffy, he actually threw back to Luffy, and Luffy has it. And that's when we discovered that Jin actually just took all of the poison, saving Sanji's life at that point. And Krieg, the chapter kind of ends with Krieg mocking Jin.
Krieg!
Telling him that. Just telling Jin
Luffy
that this
screaming
is
out Krieg.
Yeah, dude, this is what he gets for being sentimental or being, being weak, essentially. That's MH5.
Yeah,
That's a lot. That's a mouthful.
Yeah, no, a lot going on. Yeah, like the MH5 is one of those more like mechanical weapons. You know, like it causes a change in the environment. We've had a lot of environmental changes in the past, in this fight, right? Mm-hmm. We're on the Bratier, like it's being threatened to be broken. Yeah,
environmental change that's tied with a character change. What?
Ooh.
What's happening? Do all of these things sync up and pay off this theme of the chapter?
I don't know, Eric. Do they? You are the tour guide. You tell me. I don't need to do this sort of thinking.
Well, before we do that, though, we got to pay off our own foreshadow.
Yes, it's true.
We got to go to that. This just said. Hear ye, hear ye. No, why did I say that? That's not the right one.
No, we're mixing the methods of communication that have gone throughout all of history, and we are Adventures of Richie's Pirate Crew, Part 1. The indigenous Kumate tribe.
Yes, I feel. Let me describe it, then we'll go from there. If you guys are wondering what our opening sound was, it was Richie's questioning roar, like like intimidation roar. Also, like are we gonna fight?
Ooh, an intimidation. I like that.
Oh. I see what you did there. That was pretty good.
I see and both am ashamed of what I did there. But yeah, this is an awesome panel. We got Richie standing on a little rock, and he's got his crew behind him because now they are his crew, right?
This is
crew. Richie's crew. And I love how this says Part 1. This is like we've restarted the numbering.
Yes.
We were on Buggy for a long time, and we went from I don't know how many parts Buggy had, but we are no longer there. We are now part of Richie's crew, Part 1.
Yep.
And I guess Richie he's got the we made that noise because he's like presenting a fierce front, but he's also confused and not sure what to do against the Kumate tribe, right? That's kind of my read of it.
Yeah, I also think he's also like, come at me, bro. It's kind of what I'm getting from it. Yeah, kind of like, all right, these indigenous fools want to fight. I didn't realize they relocated islands at this point. I feel a little ashamed. So that was what I was going to say. I had to like look up the Kumate tribe because I was confused. I was like, did he name the pirate crew Kumate? So I was really confused. But when I looked it up, I realized that it was just they're literally on a different island, and these are the natives on that island.
Oh, for some reason, my mind didn't even think about it. It just assumed that they must have been already native to that island and they just hadn't met yet. But that's good to know. They moved islands, and now Richie is with his crew and they're dealing with it. Yeah,
and they could have moved islands before too, right? Like they could have moved islands back at, like when Kabahi and Mohi,
when they did their fight,
when they were fighting. Yeah, they could have already moved then, because I feel like the Poodle Mayor and them kind of chased them out of town already, right? So they could have moved. Yeah.
No, I think you're right, and so this is what that has led them to. A new captain, a new enemy to fight, and it looks like battle's about to ensue. Or at least some sort of negotiation. We got an archer. We got someone with a. Oh, it's actually a very interesting spear. This is me not looking at things again. The other native is holding a spear, like a stick that has a dagger kind of roped onto it. It wasn't built into it. It's like
that's really cool. That's a reference to like he's taken that from someone.
Yeah, no, I didn't even think of that. I was just thinking, at the very minimum, he had some knife, and he wanted it to be longer.
Because if you kind of look at their stuff, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, maybe it speaks a little bit to what kind of folks they are.
I love that you actually see his symbol of the three things here. So this is a really cool thing. The island that they're on is actually shaped like the paw, you see the little paw print on his arm.
Oh my goodness! So that's a detail I definitely wouldn't have known.
Yeah, that's his tribe.
So the triangle and the three dots.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a bear claw. Yeah, because I think Kumate means bear in Japanese.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's
really cool.
Yeah.
So we got these folks. The bear claw tribe, they got bear claws in their hands. They are ready to fight. And that's why we made our noise to start off the episode. Kind of sealing it in there.
Yeah, a little bit. Oh, Kumo, I think, means bear. Oh, anyways.
Did you take Japanese in high school, Eric?
Oh, no, I did not. I wish I was offered. I probably would have taken it.
Well, alas. Only the maritime law then. So trust Eric's translation there with maybe a few grains of salt, but I like it.
Maybe like a whole bag of it.
A whole bag of salt.
All right, let's jump into this chapter. First off, your general thoughts on it?
My general thoughts. My thoughts about Jin, general. I think that, I gotta call it out. Jin was a little dumb. You're just disappointed in him for throwing away that first mask, He had a mask.
Yeah.
And he threw it away. And that would have solved a lot of problems. Like, originally, I actually, I was very confused. I was trying to track the mask. I was like, I need to know where these masks went. Because, when Luffy gets that mask at the end, I was kind of like, where did that mask come from, right? And I was thinking of maybe it was the mask that Jin had thrown into the water. And I thought maybe someone under the water had, poofed it back up onto the fin for him, right? But alas, because that's not the case, because we see later that Jin doesn't have a mask, right? So we know what went down. Basically, two masks were given by Luffy to protect his friends, and one of his friends rebukes that mask. So Jin is kind of anti-mask. He's an anti-masker, I would say.
Oh,
no! Whoa, he is, right? Krieg says, get rid of your mask. And what does he do? He gets rid of it. And then Luffy gives him a mask. And then what does Jin do? He throws it away. I'm calling him out. He's against the public health, in particular his own health.
Can I also just... So this kind of leads to my topic here, because, to me, when I saw Jin do it, and this is a really big character change chapter for Jin, and it's fair, but my question to you, and this is our big topic for this chapter, where, in your opinion, do you think loyalty comes from? This whole concept of loyalty and loyal to your, to your family, to your leaders, to your captain, where do you think loyalty comes from? Because this is what I saw when I saw him do it, when he threw his mask in. I was like, that man is just, he's a slave to his loyalty.
Yeah, and okay, when you asked that question, I did have a very distinct gut answer, and my gut answer would actually be time.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Like, so I feel like you have loyalty to your family mainly because of time spent with them. So if we were to take that example and apply it to Jin's case, it's the things that he and his crew and his captain have gone through on the sea, this time spent together, that then makes disobeying them difficult. You know what I mean? It makes the situation thorny, right? Like, oh, do I go against the will of these people that I know very dearly and I feel strongly towards, and that feeling I think is built up in time. But I don't know if that's where you were headed with it. Do you have a different argument for where loyalty comes from?
I think that's a good one. I think that is a really good one. I actually did some research. I was Googling, like, how does the military build loyalty and all this stuff, and what's their philosophy on, like, the U.S. military, right? I don't know if it's different anywhere else. But the big word I kept seeing come up was trust. A subordinate must trust in their leadership, and the leadership must trust in their subordinate, sort of deal. So I deconstructed from that angle, and I was like, what does Jin trust about this? Like, Krieg is almost famously untrustworthy. Like, everything he does is very untrustworthy. So but then I started thinking about it, and I was like, I guess maybe time, I think, is a big factor. I think the more time you spend with somebody, it does become part of your culture, and it becomes a part of, like, you do develop maybe a sense of trust here, but it also comes into maybe for Jin, like, does he trust in Krieg's, like, strength and ability to win, right? This image that Krieg's built for himself, maybe Jin was really, he put his trust in that.
Yeah, and, like, if I was to try to, like, tie our two ideas together, I would say that you can't have trust without seeing, basically some sort of test of that trust happen consistently, right? So what we're, like, I would say, as far as how do you get that trust, you see maybe Jin is looking at, is this a pirate crew I should be a part of? Is this a place where I can be? He sees Krieg's strength lead them to some sort of victory time and time again, and that trust is built. That would be my way to kind of, like, sync those two things together. And so, I think that's why Jin just really has this idea. Like, I think, I don't know, does he actually say it here that, what does he say when he's thinking about, like I think, because Sanji's pretty perplexed at what Jin is doing here. I think he calls him out. Like, what are you doing? Like, why would you, like, listen to that person that did this? And go ahead.
Oh, okay. My other thing too, I just connected the two things. I like, because what you just said, like, Sanji's perplexed by it, but also in many ways Sanji and Jin are the same, because both of them have sacrificed their own wants for this person they're giving it to. The difference is that Zeph isn't sitting there being like, you have to do this obedient thing for me, Sanji. Zeph is more in the camp of, like, why did you give up all your stuff, your dreams, to do this thing? We don't know Jin's dream, but Jin is blindly loyal to Krieg, which is why he's, like, crying, and he's having a hard time in this moment, because he did, like, I think what you're talking about is, I've never regret anything I've done in your service, is what Jin's kind of said. And he's also, later on, Jin has that really sad thing where when he does throw away his mask.
Yeah, and then what he says is, I'm a coward who let foolish sentiment get in the way of duty. And so this is like, he trusts that idea that was given to him in the crew culture of Krieg that's been built up over all this time. And that's just, a tragedy to see happen, because you're just like, what? No, you threw it away.
This is such a good Jin chapter, man. And, like, I'm looking at a panel right now when he's just looking at the mask after Krieg tells him to throw it away. Because, like, there's another thing too. So I also have to say, because you tapped on it, I also think a big part of loyalty is being a part of a culture, being a part of a community, right? Like, and it's tough, because you could see all the Krieg pirates kind of, like, dealing with the same thing Krieg is dealing with, or dealing with the same thing Jin's dealing with, which is, like, is this loyalty really being questioned? Like, this is a guy who literally was down to go to jail for the rest of his life for Krieg. But you see how Krieg's treating loyalty, and you see the way that Krieg's treated almost everything in his life, which is like, it doesn't work anymore, so now it has to be taken out.
No, it's kind of it kind of explains in a very small way how you can build up kind of like a bad version of loyalty, right?
Yeah.
Because there is this community that is there to accept you for kind of believing the wrong things and doing the wrong things.
Yeah.
But the feeling of time and like trust and community and security are all still there, but they're all just being like, ugh, morphed in a very negative way.
Yeah, and you could just like, it's so sad for Jin because Jin through this whole thing is like, I can't do this one thing you're asking me to do, therefore I have to give up everything, right? Like, and he's so sad. That's why he'd rather die. And I think it's also a big reflection of him that Jin doesn't just choose to die. He also chooses to save Sanji.
Yeah,
right? Sanji and Luffy.
Wait, so
in this moment.
how does he save Sanji? Talk me through that really quick.
He puts the mask on him, and he holds it on Sanji. At the end here, in this moment, where Sanji is like, get off of me, I think Sanji's saying, get off of me so I can get this on you.
Oh, it's actually, so this really does help clear up. I did have a misunderstanding. It felt to me, this makes a lot of sense, because I was like, why doesn't Sanji, like, why, I mean, you just put the mask on your face, right? But I see what you're saying. When Luffy threw those masks, Sanji is sort of immobile at this time, pretty, and so, and that's why Jin had to be the one to get it on him and to help him, and that would make sense why there's this struggle between the two, or at least, it explains how the masking worked out right there, which is makes sense. Before I actually had a moment I was gonna ask you like, what's up with this, and that explains it perfectly.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy, and it's great. I think this is a very good payoff to Jin as a person, as a character, because he is changing. Like we've talked about before, right? Like, Luffy changes people by being introduced into this story. And if he likes you and he works with you, he's gonna, this is actually leads to another point of mine, but he's gonna help change you. Sanji was able to change Jin through feeding him, through food.
Yeah. Right?
He has that ability through, like, the power of food and the power of just being sympathetic and like, just a decent person has done a lot to Jin. It's changed him, right?
Yeah.
My last thing that I was gonna ask you is, like, Krieg versus Luffy, how do they build their loyalty? How are they building their loyalty? And just because of the concept of just kind of moving time, I kind of put my points on. I think you can just jump in and tell me if you think this is different or wrong, but Krieg, I think he builds loyalty through, like, ruthlessness and just victories at any cost. It's like perceived strength, I think, is a way to kind of earn loyalty too, which is fear, essentially, at the end of the day. Whereas Luffy, I think, wins loyalty through acts of service. Right? Like, he's going to fight for you for this specific thing that you care about because he believes in you and your ideas. Right? He's not leading you through fear. He's not trying to show you these victories. In fact, he's fighting for you on behalf of you, which is probably how he's going to end up winning Sanji over,
No, I think that sums it up really well, the difference in these two crew cultures and how they, build their loyalty. A quick thing that I did want to point out is... it's bugged me about Sanji's character, it's bugged me about Jin's character, and I haven't mentioned at this point, I don't know why. Is what's on Jin's lip just a mustache?
Yeah.
That's correct, right?
Yeah.
For some reason, that mustache looks weird to me.
It's just a very skinny mustache.
It's skinny?
Yeah, it's just kind of like, it's like a drizzle, like Eric Vu, like 2 weeks without, like 2 days without shaving.
Oh, okay. So I think this is coming. I think you may have explained Jin's character as far as how he looks to me. The lines above that mustache are just creases in his face.
Yeah.
So I gotta tell you what I was seeing. I was seeing the creases in the face as the top of something that started at his lips. So, like, to me, it was like this weird, almost like Scotch tape sized thing that was going across his upper lip.
Oh, no. Those are just his creases of his face. Yeah.
Those are just the creases of his face.
Yeah.
He's just a hardened, slightly older guy who's got some, little bit sunken face. That makes sense. The mustache is small and the lines are good. Now, I just want everyone else out there to try to imagine what I was seeing, which was some oddly, like, the whole thing is a mustache
kind of like a duck
from the top.
Going the way you see it.
I was confused. The way I saw it was very confusing. And so I just wanted to clear that up for, any other tourists out there that might be having any trouble. Let me know if you see Jin in an entirely different way now.
All right, man. Are we good to move on to the next section?
Oh yeah, we good. We ready for a little bit, maybe a ha-ha here, a ha-ha there.
Do you have one?
Ha-ha and a ha-ha. Ah! Do I have one? You know what? Why am I saying this if I don't have a ha-ha? I wrote down, this time, it's for real. And so that's a quote that somebody must say in this chapter. I think it's got to be, no, it was said by the pirates right before they go under. because they were talking about like he's gonna launch the MH5.
Oh, yeah.
This time it's for real. And I just thought it was kind of funny in the context of Krieg being somebody who bluffs. Like they seem pretty legit as far as diving under the last time to protect themselves. But like nope, this time it's for real. I like their response to that.
Mm-hmm. No, that was pretty good. I mean, the other haha that I kind of liked is I did love Luffy's face when he happens to find the mask next to him.
Yeah, because he's just like pleasantly surprised. I get to live today. Woo! No, very good.
It's also just very animated and big. Like the proportion of his face doesn't match the proportion of his body. This is on page 14.
Yeah. Coming from somebody who reads issue by issue. I read volumes, Eric. I get the volumes from the library. I'm on like page 180 or something. But no, I see what you're talking about. It's a good look. Good look for Luffy.
All right, shall we punch each other with panels?
Oh, oof! Oh, so pointy. Welcome to the panel battle. This is the segment of the podcast where we take our favorite panel from the chapter, we stick them head to head, and we have them, compare haircuts. Compare their mustaches. Maybe one looks like it has a mustache, but it really doesn't, and therefore is the inferior panel. That's right. This is the panel battle. And we want to encourage everyone out there to send in your panels. How can they do that, Eric? How can people send in their panels?
Oh, you can just email us at grandlinetourist@gmail.com. That's exactly where you need to go. That's the only place you need to go. But, if you get confused about what the email address, again, it's just nameapodcast@gmail.com. Just go ahead and send it in there, and we will make sure to kind of feature you in it, which a lot of folks have done in the past already. We have a good, consistent flow of different people joining in this battle. So it's always nice.
I think today though it is a solo battle between you and I. I do believe we have some queuing up for some future chapters. That said, you know what? Boom! I just sent mine over. If you'd care to open it and check it out.
It says spoiler on it. I don't know if I should click it.
It says click it. I spoiled it on purpose. I didn't want you looking at my panel early.
It's a small panel of Krieg saying this is military might, and he has his freaking mask on. This high-tech mask that almost does not match the world of One Piece.
I know. He's like in a steampunk world right now. He does. Something that struck my mind as I've gone over this chapter a couple times now, kind of looking at it and looking at the imagery, especially this one, and the fact that everyone's pretty against the idea of using gas as like a weapon. I feel like this is definitely a little bit referential to like using gas in war as being just like a bad way to fight war.
I think so. I mean,
kind
that
of
was
inhumane.
The rules of war that we've talked about a few chapters ago, right? Like they don't.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to do it because it's terrible.
Yeah, and so this is actually a very sobering panel. He's in dark. He's kind of in shadow. Krieg is. He's got the mask on, which it just makes his face just that much more like inhuman, right? And he's saying this is military might, and you're just like, no, it isn't. But you also know how it's going to be effective and how it's going to cause pain to others, and that's why. It is
I wrote it down earlier too, but like Krieg looks at everybody like military assets, right? And that's even the way he treats his men. Like at the end of the day, Pearl and Jin, they lost. They're done. He shoots people who are afraid. He doesn't care. Like you guys are an extension of his toolbox. Is how he treats you.
Remind me, what was Pearl's end again, real quick? I know we definitely had his
Jin crashes knocks him out.
Oh yeah, okay, there we go. So he's still, I assume he's gonna make it, but he's not doing great at the moment.
Right. Exactly.
Oh wait, did anyone put a mask on Pearl?
I don't know what Pearl is.
Oh no, who's been tracking Pearl? That's what I want to know.
All right, I'm gonna take my swing.
All right. Oh, okay. Yeah, this one I like better now that you've actually done a little bit to explain it to me, just in context. We have, "Get off me," is Sanji yelling at Jin, who is aggressively, now that I know this, putting a mask on Sanji's face in order to protect him from the horrible gas that is around. And as we know now, we can't see it, but Jin does not have a mask on himself, and you could see the smoke wisping in front of these characters, and it does a really cool, like, blurring effect on them, and, it's kind of, oh, man, you get to see both of Jin's hands, like, on Sanji's face with the mask, and then both his hands are on Jin's arm trying to get him off of him. I think this is a really cool panel now, especially that I know what's going on.
Yeah, for me, I just think the context of, Sanji must have been struggling so hard during the whole smoke. like to
Yeah.
get him off of him, and not like in violence. Like I think what's really cool that he's flipped like this idea of like the violence that their fight before was very similar to this. This is actually reminiscent of how the fight starts with Sanji on the floor and Jin at that point holding his
Yeah, Jin
Tonkas.
having Sanji pinned is kind of a more dangerous thing for Sanji because Jin kind of has the brute strength, and you know, but here it's being used to save his life.
To save his life, exactly.
Oh gosh.
So you can tell, like for me, I love the story of like in the smoke, Sanji must have been like screaming for Jin to get off because he needs to. Like, I need to save you too. You need a mask. You're gonna die. Because he must have known Sanji saw Jin throw the mask to Luffy.
Yeah.
Right? So he already knew. He did fast math. He did. He knows.
No, I have to admit, it checks out for me, but it is quite a bit of like my brain did not put these pieces together. It definitely makes sense that Jin would put the mask on Sanji. It doesn't. Yeah, you're right. It is quite fast math for Sanji to then realize what's going on and be like, if I don't get you off of me, you're going to die. We need to, like, share this mask. We need to find you a mask or something. Like,
we got to do
that is
something. Because right now, like, you're going to die. And what's so sad to me is that at this point, Jin thinks he deserves to die.
Yeah. And, well, it's also, like, I mean, another thing is with the gas is just taking away Jin's strength, but Jin is still strong enough to protect Sanji and keep this mask on him. You know.
It's so good, right?
Tough
All
guy.
of it. There's so many
Tough
levels
dude.
who thought this dumb MH5 thing was going to lead to a fun moment like this? It's a fun little character moment for everybody.
10 out of 10. Monster Hunter 5 from Engadget. I don't know. Whoever ranked video games. It's a good one.
Oh,
okay.
My goodness.
Oh, we need to. I don't know. What do we need to do? Do we need to inhale some smoke ourselves? Do we need to?
I think we've been doing a lot of like cause and effect sounds, so I think we can keep going. Let's do. Today I will be the MH5 leaving the barrel of Krieg's gun, and you'll be the release of the MH5.
All right. Dispersion of the gas. Here we go.
Yeah, here we go.